Hello. If you buy a TIG welder or any kind of welder, it won't be very long before someone asks you to repair something. You'd better be prepared for that. In my case, I was asked to repair something before I'd even plugged the damn machine in. Anyway, that brings us to today's project, which is repairing a cart for a local food establishment who found out that I can weld, and so they've asked me to fix this thing. Now, believe me, it doesn't matter how good you are, or for that matter how bad you are, someone will ask you to fix something. On the plus side, you get to wear a pretty nice hat. Anyway, Exhibit A. So let's get to it. Here's the problem. A bunch of the welds have broken holding these rails. They're not very great welds, I guess. Maybe it's not for me to judge. Anyway, the idea is to go around, find the cracked ones, and see if I can just recover this and make it usable for a bit longer. So I'll do my best. I am not a qualified welder. I'm not even a particularly good welder from a hobbyist standpoint, but heck, I'll give it a try. Here's my TIG machine, older machine, and it's a transformer machine. It's not one of the fancy new inverter technologies, but it is a good one. I mean, it was $3,500 brand new. I got it for $500 with only a few hours on it. So it's a Lincoln Precision TIG 185. It will run up to 185 amps, and I think that's a 20% duty cycle. I've got it set on AC for the aluminium, and I just use the auto setting on the AC balance. That seems to work out pretty well. And that's really about it. There's not a whole lot to set on this other than the maximum current, which I've got at 85 amps. Machine's not on just yet. When you look at this, they've really, see if I can zoom in, get a better look. There is no penetration into the root of the joint. They've just got a very little bit of penetration. Right, here's my pointer, that's what I was trying to do. They got a little bit of penetration here, and then nothing behind it, and that seems to be the case on all of these. So if I go over to, this one's failing, and then next to it, this one, on the face of it they look quite nice, not including the crack. Before the crack it probably looked quite nice, but if you come around here, it's terrible. These are terrible. When I'm done with this, my welds will probably look a lot more horrendous, but I bet they'll be stronger. So I've got that going for it anyway. This is what I'm using. I'm using one of these Jazzy 10 ceramic cups. I got this from Weldmonger. You can get it other places, and it's got a gas lens in it. I'm using 3/32 tungsten, ground at the moment to a point, but I'm going to ball that up. Not bollocks it up. Well, I might bollocks it up, but I'm going to ball it up, which I was shown by a proper welder. That's a good setup using the transformer machine. I don't think you would normally, if you were a good welder, I don't think you would need a great big cup like this, but I have found that really helps me to get a somewhat reasonable weld on aluminium. And if that's what it takes for me as a complete amateur to get a decent joint, or at least one that doesn't crack and look all hairy, then I'm okay with that. And I'll leave smaller cups to the professionals who know what they're doing. But I think this will be okay. I'm going to use 3/32 filler wire as well. I've found that that just helps me kind of keep the melt puddle a little more chill, because I tend to not move much fast enough and things like that. Even though the wall thickness on this material is, 1/16, but I just did a bit of quick testing on some 1/16 material with this, and I seem to be able to control it. So gonna go with that. All right. Job done. I won't zoom in too close, no one needs to see this mess. As I predicted, my welds do not look as pretty as these. Not that these are that great, but I have got a lot more penetration into the two pieces of metal at each joint, and my welds will be a lot stronger. In fact, I don't think my welds will fail, as shitty as they look. So this video is not meant to be instructional. It's not even inspirational. All I would say is, as an amateur, if you want to try these things, I think you should. I think you should think them through. You should set up and try and be safe, but you should try things. And in general, one way or another, you'll be successful. And if you find that you've got a natural aptitude for something, then run with it. I don't think I'm a particularly good welder. I don't expect to be, but I do enjoy it and I can repair things. So, however, based on the quality of this, I certainly shan't be charging any money. That's completely unacceptable. However, the cart lives to cart around another day. So we'll call that a win.